And now we stay in Brazil. Thousands of indigenous people from across South America have traveled to Belem to participate in COP30. Our correspondent Mier has more.
I'm in one of the hundreds of alternative spaces that have been set up to counter COP30 that's underway until November 21st here in Belem, the UN Climate Conference. Now, this is an indigenous village that was set up by the local government as lodging for over 3,000 indigenous people from countries across Latin America who've come to participate in the conference. So in addition to lodging, they have space where they can hold their debates and conferences and negotiations. And also there's an area where they sell the handicrafts to tourists who come in. Basically, for over a decade now, the UN has built up this idea of indigenous people as stewards of the environment, as guardians of the forest, as guardians of the climate. And as Silvia Chucuru told me today, one of the leaders of the Chucuru Nation here in Brazil, she and her people are very happy with this title and they would be happy to take on this role, but it can only work if the government guarantees the rights to their traditional lands. There's millions of hectares of land in Brazil alone that should belong to the indigenous people but hasn't been returned to them yet, despite the fact that they've been living there for thousands of years. In addition, there are reserves where loggers have invaded, where miners are illegally extracting minerals, and for indigenous people to take on a role as stewards of the forest or stewards of the environment, they have to have control over their own lands. The state has to support them to make sure their land isn't invaded and also guarantee their rights to their traditional lands. So that's a demand that they're raising in the COP30 this week, and there's also going to be a few public marches to support these demands and others that have been raised here during the week since they've arrived.